Welcome to Bryer's Music Showcase. I'm Bryer and welcome to another video. And this video is a little bit late, but you know, better late than never. So it's that special time where I go through all the CDs that I have bought throughout the month of March. So I didn't really do a whole lot of videos showing what I've been getting throughout. I did one where I showed off what I got from a record store, but I didn't do any unboxings because really, I actually didn't buy any CDs from Amazon this month. I know, shocking. But yeah, I've just been buying a lot from the two main record stores I usually get stuff from. And I still managed to get a good haul. So I think we have about over 30. So still a lot though. But that's pretty typical of me. So of course, like always, I'm going to go through all of them and I'm going to give my brief thoughts on them. Usually they're just first impressions because I try to listen to these at least once. There may be some I might need to listen to again. But yeah, these are just my first impressions on these. So again, if you look forward to these videos every month, please give this video a like, of course. And let's get started. So I'm going to go alphabetical order and I'm going to go by last name for solo artist. So starting with A. This is one I did show in that video from when I went to Feel It Records. First we have Allman Brothers Band, Eat a Peach. So this is the third album, technically the second, but the one they did before was Live at Fillmore East. And that album was kind of their breakthrough. And this is kind of the follow-up to it. And so what you have is kind of a mixture of studio and live tracks. And this is also the last album to have Duane Allman before he passed. Well, this was actually released posthumously because by this point, by the time this came out, he was already dead. So yeah, it's a very strong album. I mean, good old Southern rock at its finest. I mean, Ain't Wasting Time No More. Melissa's great. You have the 30-minute jam song, which is a live cut, which is called Mountain Jam. Again, 33 minutes, so it's a long one to get through, but very enjoyable. I don't mind jams or stuff like that. Like, some people might find it boring. I kind of like them, honestly. Then you have two more live cuts on here, and then you go back to the studio with you have Stand Back, Blue Sky, and Little Martha, which is a great one to close out the album, and a good closer for Duane Allman as well. Was there anything else I wanted to say about this album? So I was going to say something about Mountain Jam because what I've looked up, and people who do own the vinyl copy can hopefully verify for me, but on the original LP they actually separated Mountain Jam to two separate sections. They cut it in half. So I don't know which side was which, but they kind of separated them, which was kind of weird. So on the CD though, they did combine them and you have the full 30-minute jam in as one song. So that's kind of a little tidbit. So yeah, very good one. Next, another one I've shown before. We have Anderson, Bruford, Wakeman, Howe. So you have these four guys that were from Yes. They decided to collaborate on this album. And didn't know what to expect really, because again, this is 1989. And, you know, there's no Chris Squire on it. But I think this is still a pretty strong album. I quite enjoyed this. I think I pretty much enjoyed every song on here. But yeah, Themes is great. Fist of Fire, Brother of Mine, The Meeting, Quartet, Teak Boys? I don't know. I tried. Order of the Universe, and then again, I'm pretty much naming all the songs here basically. But yeah, I was very surprised with this one. And I was, again, even though it would be cool if Chris Squire was playing and then you really have Yes, it's still pretty good. Very happy about this one. That's another one I probably need to give more listens to. Okay, showing this again. Asia with the debut. Again, you have John Wetton from King Crimson and Uriah Heep. Steve Howe, Yes. And you have Jeff Downes from the Buggles and also Yes. And then you finally have Carl Palmer from Emerson, Lake and Palmer. And then they decided to go with a more commercial sounding album, but still sprinkle a little bit of prog in there. And you have a pretty strong debut. And from what people have said, this is the best album. Like everything after this album is kind of like, it's not. You don't need to check it out. But I was very happy to finally own this one. This has actually been one I've been meaning to get for a while. I mean, you have the hits like Heat of the Moment and Only Time Will Tell. But the other songs are pretty good. Soul Survivor's great. One one step closer, Without You, Here Comes the Feelings, Here Comes the Feelings, yeah. So yeah, very enjoyable album. I don't mind it. I know most die-hard prog fans don't like it, but why not? I don't mind. And then my Beatle collection grew again, so now I have Hard Day's Night on CD. So this is one of the 80s printings from back in the day. Sounds pretty good. Can't really compare it to the 2009 mix, but this sounds pretty good to me. Of course, you have a lot of classics on here. Of course, this is basically the soundtrack to the film, which, great film, by the way. Very fun film to watch. Of course, you have the iconic title track with the iconic boom. That's not in key, but you know what I'm trying to say. I should have known better if I fell. And I love her. Tell Me Why. Can't Buy Me Love, which is basically all the songs from the film. And then the other half is great as well. Anytime at All. Things we said today. You Can't Do That. I know. Very good album. Probably one of my favorites from this early period. So yeah, very good to have more in the collection. Jeff Beck, Blow by Blow, shown this before. Did a whole reaction to this album. Go watch it if you haven't already. That pretty much tells you all my whole thoughts on the album. But make it short. Great album. Next, very surprised to find this one. So we have Camel with the Snow Goose. So now this is the third Camel I have in my collection. We have Mirage and Moon Madness. So this is pretty interesting because, as you can see, it says Camel inspired by the Snow Goose, because if I remember correctly, I think it's a concept album that's kind of based on a novella or a novel or something like that, something on that line. They originally wanted to have vocals on it, but if I remember correctly, they couldn't get the rights to the novella, so they thought, yeah, forget it, let's just make this whole album instrumental. And that's what you get. So this is a completely, pretty much instrumental album. You still have the great stuff you love about Camel, those great keyboard sounds, a little guitar stuff they throw in. Just a very pleasing sounding album. It has a great mood to it, very great atmosphere they have. Granted, again, I like my lyrics and I like my vocals, so this is probably an album I won't play too often, but I can very much appreciate for what it is. Some people say this is one of Camel's best album. It's not for me personally, but I can totally see why many people enjoy this one a lot. So yeah, The Snow Goose by Camel. Next, The Cars with Candy-O. So this is the second album following the debut. Not as strong as the debut, honestly, but still pretty good. Let's Go, title track I liked, Since I Held You, Shooby-Doo, which if I had a nickel for every song where the title's Shooby-Doo, I'll have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but kind of surprised it happened twice. Anyhow, You Can't Hold On Too Long, Got a Lot on My Head. Yeah, strong follow-up. The debut is just classic, and this is not bad. Still pretty good. Glad to have it. After that, again, shown this before, we have Cinderella, Night Songs. This is their debut album. Very good album. Very much enjoyed this one a lot. Just good old 80s rock. Some people say hair, glam metal. You hear it's kind of that, but there's some blues influence in there that kind of gives it a very good edge to it. And the vocals are pretty good as well, just very typical of that genre. But yeah, very much enjoyed this a lot. A lot of fun. So pretty much enjoyed all the songs on here. So yeah, Cinderella. We'll see if I'll get more in the future. All right, so. Next, I don't know why I wanted to get this, because most people will say this is not that good of an album, but it was in the dollar section, so I thought, forget it, why not? So we have Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and we have American Dream. So this is notable because this is Neil finally back in the band after doing a solo work for a while. David Crosby just pretty much kicked his habits, his drug habit, So you have the band reformed, and what you get is something, you know, it's fine. It's okay. Nothing really a whole lot to say. It's just CSNY in the 80s, and you know, not really doing a great job of adapting to it in my opinion, but there's some decent songs in here. Probably the best song on here is Got It Made, which is Stephen Stills' song, and I like that song. That's a pretty good one. Let's see what else. This Old House I think was good. Compass, you know, that's kind of a personal song by David Crosby. I kind of appreciate that one. Let's see, I think Clear Blue Sky was pretty good, and that might be it. So yeah, as a whole, it's not really that great, but you know, it was cheap, so why not? And it was cheap because this case is very broken. I didn't even bother replacing it yet. That's why the price tag is still there, because I had not replaced it yet. Because I mean, look how damaged this thing is. Like look at the top. Like, I don't know, was it really that bad? Did somebody smash it because it was so bad to them? I don't know, but you know, I'll fix it. I'll fix it eventually. After that, Deep Purple, we have Perfect Strangers. Yep, finally have this album, another one I've been trying to get for a bit. So this is the reunion album of the century. Of course, you have the Mark II lineup with Ian Gillan, Richie Blackmore, Roger Glover, Ian Pace, and John Lord, all back together to make this album. And you know, pretty strong album. I quite liked it. It's not really my favorite Deep Purple album, but there's some good stuff on here. Knocking at Your Back Door, Under the Gun, Nobody's Home. Perfect Strangers is pretty good. I will say I do think that song's a tad overrated. It's not really my favorite of their hits, but you know, I dig it. Hungry Days. Then you have Not Responsible, which if I remember correctly, that wasn't on the original album, but it was like a CD exclusive. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I've heard. But yeah, very good to have Deep Purple, as always. Okay, the next two are by the same artist, and this is a solo artist. So first up, we have Nick Drake. We have Brighter Later. So this is his second album. I don't have his first one yet. I do hope to find that one eventually. So this is, like I said, this is the second album, and he's kind of trying to go for more of a commercial sound, but as hopefully, for those who don't know, this album did not sell well. I mean, pretty much a lot of Nick's catalog did not sell well at all, because he only released 3 albums. This is the second, like I just said, like third time I've said that. But I was very impressed with this one. I didn't know what to expect. Many people talk about him a lot in the VC, and so I thought, might as well, this is like the perfect opportunity to get it. So yeah, I was very impressed. I really enjoyed the songwriting here. I don't know what the lyrics are fully just yet, but from what I can tell, like I can tell he was a very talented songwriter, and the music just really great. Accompaniment, it's great use of drums, a little bit of strings here and there. Just has a great atmosphere to it. I really suggest you go check out some of Nick Drake's stuff, because there's some very good stuff. So I think this is probably my favorite so far. But the next one I'm going to show is another one so most people would say it's his best. I will say, even though I said I didn't buy anything from Amazon, I guess you can say this is the exception, because the one did come from Amazon, but I bought it in February, but it took until March to get here. So I don't know, you can take that for what you will. But back to what I was saying before. So we have Nick Drake, Pink Moon, which is his final studio album. So this one, very different from Brighter Later. So this is mainly, pretty much 99% of this is just him on guitar, on acoustic guitar. That's it, just his vocals. The title track, which is the first song, that has a little bit of piano, but after that, nothing else, just him and the guitar. And yeah, this is by far you can tell he's just kind of done with everything at this point. You can just tell in the lyrics, you know, he's very disappointed on his career, and you know, kind of depressed about it. Kind of feeling like this is it. This is all I got left. Take it for what you will. And yeah, of course, he would soon pass away not long after this. Whether by suicide, we don't really know, but I think he left. I mean, it took a few years, but nowadays many people do pretty much recognize his talent. And you know, what could have, it's just another one of those stories like what could have been, you know. But very much impressed with Nick Drake's stuff. I do still need to get his debut on CD, just so I can have the whole trilogy. But yeah, very much impressed by that. Moving on, we have Focus, Moving Waves, or technically it's just called Focus 2, but here in the States it's known as Moving Waves. Mainly instrumental. I think really 2 songs had some vocals on it. Some people may know the song for the song Hocus Pocus, where if you find the live cut of this, then yeah, this is kind of that. Then you know. So this one has the original studio version, which is a little bit slower than the one that most people have kind of talked about. There's a whole story about that, but I'm not going to get into it because I don't want this video to get too long. But yeah, very good stuff. I believe they're a Dutch band. Another progressive rock act. Some great stuff, great guitar work, drumming, keyboards, the whole shebang. Very good stuff. Very much like this one. And this is another one I've been trying to get for a bit. Mainly because of Hocus Pocus. Next, Steve Hackett makes a return, and we have Guitar Noir. I did not like this album. So this is Steve Hackett in the 80s. And I feel like this is like late 80s. Actually no, this is the 90s. So 93. So yeah, I don't think Steve Hackett was that. Based on this, I don't think he was. It's kind of hard. You have the 80s, kind of that very 80s, like early 90s production. Then you have Steve Hackett, and to me, it does not mix that well. Just doesn't really work. I just really got it because if you see the hype sticker on it, it says includes special bonus track Cassandra featuring Steve Hackett and Brian May, which I have heard that song before, so that's why I bought this. However, I'm more familiar with the one that's on the Feedback 86 version. And when I played this version here, I was very disappointed because I think this is more of a demo of the song I'm more familiar with. You still got Brian May. I mean, Brian May, you know I love him, but it's not the song I'm thinking of. So now I'm kind of like, well, I got this now. Yay. I'm sure this album has some fans, but this one did not grab me really. So yeah, can't win them all. Next, we have The Jam, All Mod Cons. So before I continue, let me quickly just shake this up. Just don't want this falling asleep on me again. So yeah, we have The Jam. So I think it was last month where I bought the Paul Weller album. Very much enjoy this one. Saw this in the record store because I know he was in the Jam. So might as well get it. And yeah, very good, very good. I really enjoyed this one. Has that sort of indie kind of punk sound, but very enjoyable. Very good stuff. This is another one I probably need to listen to more, but for what I heard, very, very impressed. We have more Prog. We have Emerson, Lake and Palmer with Trilogy. So Greg Lake has said that this is his favorite his favorite ELP album. I can see it. I got it because, you know, I wanted to see if I can get more because all I have is the debut and Brain Salad Surgery. So ironically, this is the third one I bought from them, and it's Trilogy, so yay. But yeah, I liked it. It was good. Again, I've said this, I think I said it before, but I'm starting to feel like really nothing has really grabbed me with ELP. I mean, I appreciate Keith Emerson, like his keyboard playing is off the chain. But other than that, like everything else kind of is not quite working for me. I mean, I like Greg Lake. I mean, he's a good singer. And Carl Palmer, great drummer. But for some reason, it's just nothing really truly grabbing me. I can appreciate the musicianship, but maybe this is just not the sound for me. Again, I know people really love Emerson, Lake and Palmer and this album, and I do like it, but again, just haven't really fully clicked for me yet. But never say never. Moody Blues. Some people might be surprised because I'm sure there are a lot of people who aren't a fan of this period of the band, but I saw it. I want to get it. Why not? So this is The Other Side of Life. So this is 86, I believe. So yeah, by this point the band is going to more commercial sounding sound. Some people didn't like it. I liked it. I kind of liked it. The biggest hit on here was The Wildest Dreams, which is a great pop tune. I like that one. That's a nice, sweet song. Then we have Talkin', Rock and Roll Over You, title track, Running Out of Love, Slings and Arrows. Yeah, again, is it cream of the crop Moody Blues? No. But is it still, do I still think it's listenable? Heck yeah. Again, some people might disagree with me on that, but why not? Whatever. It's my opinion. All right, next two, by the same artist, we have Van Morrison, another person I've been hearing a lot. He always gets brought up a lot from time to time. So we have Astral Weeks, and then we have Moondance. Yeah, pretty good. Definitely ones I need to listen to more because I only got time to listen to him one time, but I can definitely tell why people seem to like him so much. I mean, one of the big singer-songwriters ever, and these two are considered his best albums. But yeah, I can totally see why. I think I like this one a little bit more because there's definitely a bit more hooks on here. This one's also pretty good. This one has a more jazzy feel to it, which I appreciate. So yeah, definitely plan to listen to these two again, but I have pretty good feelings about these two. All right, we're about halfway done, so let's see how much. Let me just quickly see how much time we've been doing. All right, about 23 minutes. Yay! Hopefully you like long videos. I nearly knocked the camera over. Anyhow, moving on. Let's go on. Pearl Jam with 10. That's the name of the album, 10. So yeah, I always want to get into Pearl Jam. One of those big grunge bands, from the 90s. And yeah, I can see why they were popular. I like them. I like this one a lot. You have Once Alive, which was a pretty big hit. Jeremy, another very well-known song. Porch Garden. Deep. Release. Yeah, this is a good one. I really enjoy this one. Again, I always say I kind of sometimes say the 90s were always hit or miss for me. There was some great stuff in the 90s, but there was some that didn't really appeal to me. But yeah, this is nice. I like it. Okay, shown this before. Tom Petty, Wildflowers. This is his second solo album, but you have the Heartbreakers playing on here. So, but it's just said Tom Petty. So there we go. So yeah, always been trying to get more of him, and yeah, another good album. I think I still prefer Full Moon Fever to this, but this is still enjoyable. Just good old folk rock, heartland rock, if you want to call it that. There was another thing, rock and roll. They also said on Wikipedia. But yeah, very enjoyable. Like it. I like it a lot. I dig it. Quiet Riot. We have Metal Health. Very big album. To some people, this is kind of like this is where hair metal and glam metal really hit the scene. Became really popular. And this is another very fun album. I mean, you have Come On Feel the Noise, which is the Slade cover, which is very well known. The title track's very awesome. Don't Want to Let You Go. Breathless. Battle Axe, Let's Get Crazy. Again, it's just a very fun metal, 80s metal album. It's nothing deep about it. It's just an album you just headbang to. you know, it's just a fun album. So yeah, I'm glad I finally have this in the collection. Next, 2 from the same band, we got Rainbow with Ritchie Blackmore. However, no, not the ones with Dio, unfortunately. But I was very happy with these 2. We have Straight Between the Eyes, and then we have Bent Out of Shape. So these 2 albums do not have Ronnie James Dio, nor Graham Bonnet, but you have another singer called Jolyn Turner. And I was pretty happy. I kind of enjoy these 2. Obviously, I prefer the Dio and the Bonnet stuff more, but this is definitely them kind of trying to go for a Foreigner sound, like trying to sound like Foreigner in a sense. Some people didn't like it. Of course, I enjoyed it. I like Foreigner, so this is kind of more up. This is kind of up my alley. I think I prefer this one a bit more. This one had a bit more hooks on it for me. This one's still pretty good though. So yeah, and plus I kind of like the album cover on here too. It's kind of stupid, but you know, a lot of albums from the 80s, a lot of album covers from the 80s had stupid covers. but then again, this is also kind of stupid, but you know, that's just the time period. But yeah, I've had fun with these 2. I mean, Ritchie still sounds good, and again, like I said, Jolyn Turner's vocals sound nice as well. So yeah, very good finds. And I've shown these 2 before, again from the same band. We have REM, we have Out of Time, and then we have Automatic for the People. Very impressed with these 2. Again, another one of these 90s albums where I was kind of nervous, because again, I've always had like a hit or miss thing with the 90s. But yeah, very enjoyable. This is the first one that came out first, and before this one, and so yeah, this was very good. Of course, I was Losing My Religion on it. Radio Song's nice. Endgame, Half a World Away, Country Feedback. So great stuff, and this was also very good. This had the hits Everybody Hurts, but you have Drive, the Side Winger, Sleep Tonight, Ignore Land, and one song that people have really been speaking highly of is Night Swimming, and I can see why. Just a great song with just great string arrangements on here. So yeah, both very impressed with these 2. Again, more albums I need to give more listens to, but yeah, very good stuff. All right, again, 2 from the same artist. What are we doing here? Next, Bruce Springsteen. Yes, I bought 2 Bruce Springsteen albums. So we have The River, and then we got Born in the USA. So I bought this one first. I kind of decided, you know, let's try another Bruce Springsteen album. And so I bought this one first because it was kind of the next after, I forgot what it was called, but it's escaping me. But the one that came out in '78. So you know the one I'm talking about. So this was the follow-up to that album. And yeah, it's pretty decent. I will say it's a double album, and I think I'm coming to the realization, like, I can only take Bruce Springsteen so much. Like, one album's fine, double it, and it's kind of like, okay, this is starting to drag a bit. Like, there are some good songs. There are some songs I liked. Ties That Bind, Two Hearts, Hungry Heart, Cadillac Ranch, I'm a Rocker, Price You Pay. Yeah, there's some good songs on here. There's some songs I liked. But again, a bit too long for me. So I thought that was going to be the last one I'd buy this month. But of course, Garrett from SoundLab Studios, he says that I should really give Born in the USA a run. I was very hesitant because, as you know, I am not a fan of the title track. And after listening to this album, I still don't like the title track. But the other songs on here I actually kind of liked. So aside from the title track, which is the first song, so that's not a good way to start. Cover Me is a good one though. I like Cover Me was very nice. I enjoy that one. Working on the Highway is good. I'm on Fire, kind of a nice little slow ballad, which I actually kind of enjoyed. No Surrender. I'm Going Down. Dancing in the Dark, which is a pretty big hit on here, and yeah, I like that one too. I like the keyboards on that one. Nice, good, upbeat song. And it finishes out with another good closing track with My Hometown. So yeah, aside, again, like I said, I'm probably not going to like the title track ever, but at least I can say that the album as a whole is actually pretty good. So there you go. Again, slowly building my ear, getting used to Bruce Springsteen. Who knows? Maybe in the future, I'll start to really even like and even love these albums. So who knows? So yeah, I'm not sure where I should go next with Bruce Springsteen. Again, let me know if there's other albums I should check out by him. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So now we're almost done. Just a few more to go. So now this next one. So this CD here, I'm going to show it, and from this point, I now have every single CD from this band. We have Two Against Nature by Steely Dan. So yeah, this was the last one I needed. So I've heard this before. Again, this album and Everything Must Go, not the greatest in the catalog, but to me, they still sound like Steely Dan, and that's really all that matters. Gaslighting Abby's good. The title track, Janie Runaway, Almost Gothic. Negative Girl, just a very good album. Not mind-blowing, but yeah, for what it is, I like it. So yeah, very happy to have the whole Steely Dan catalog on CD. Okay, Tears for Fears are up next. We have The Hurting, which is the debut. Very solid. I still prefer Songs from the Big Chair the most, because I think this album is very much just new wave, bit of gothic rock in a sense. But it's just your typical synth pop sound, which, you know, I like, but, you know, I can only take so much. I kind of like when they would kind of experiment more on the next albums. But yeah, kind of nice to have this one. I mean, it's good to have the original Mad World, which some of us know the more like stripped down version, the more depressing version. But this has the original version on it. Very different, but pretty cool. So yeah. Pete Townsend, my first Pete Townsend solo album. We have Empty Glass. This was pretty big for him. Had the big hit, Let My Love Open the Door, which is a great song. Always enjoyed this one. Rough Boys is good. Keep on Working. A Little Is Enough. Gonna Get Ya. Strong. Very strong album. Doesn't really compete with The Who, but, you know, for what it is, I like it. Traveling Wilburys, Volume 1. Been putting this off for a bit because there were some other albums I wanted to get, but, you know, it was there, so might as well give this a go. And yeah, another good album, very strong. Again, not usually the type of music I automatically gravitate towards, but still, when I'm in the right mood, there's some good stuff on here. I mean, it's the great supergroup with George Harrison, Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, Jeff Lynne, and Bob Dylan. I mean, that's basically the Avengers right there, of rock right there, of music. So anyway, we have Handle with Care, it's great. Dirty World, Last Night, Not Alone Anymore, Heading for the Light, and other songs are also pretty good, but really my favorite song is still going to be End of the Line. Just what a great great number that is, especially when you watch the video, you see the rocking chair and you hear Roy Orbison's voice, because, you know, by that point he had passed away. So very, very nice to watch. So yeah, this is a good album. All right, Mickey, if you're watching this, you're going to be happy. I bought another live album, and that album is Uriah Heep Live. So yeah, it's kind of beat up though. The back's kind of beat up, but the front's not too bad. But yeah, again, Uriah Heep. This was during they had just released The Magician's Birthday at this point. So disc 1 is the original live album. Then disc 2 is a lot of bonus stuff. You have a US radio show, then you have the film mixes used for radio. So yeah, of course I just listened to the disc 1, and yeah, it's a good live album. It's, yeah, definitely a good way, good kind of shows the sound, how great of a live act they were during this time period. So yeah, not much to say because again, I'm not a huge live album fan, but you know, I might as well get it because Uriah Heep. I mean, I like Uriah Heep a lot. All right, we have 3 more to go. Let me see how long this video is now. All right, we're at 36 minutes. All right, let's finish out with a bang. Let me just shake this up a little bit. Don't fall asleep on me, computer. Next up, we got Van Halen. We have 51550. Yeah, hopefully I said that right. So this is the first album with Sammy Hagar on vocals. Again, it was in the record store. It was kind of cheap, so might as well get it. You know, and I've always said I've always will be a David Lee Roth guy. But yeah, I'm actually quite like this album. And you know, Sammy Hagar sounded pretty good on here. And you know, some good songs like Good Enough, Why Can't This Be Love, which was a hit. Get Up, great, very good rocker there, that one. Dreams was another big hit on here. I actually really do dig Dreams. Best of Both Worlds, Love Walks In. Yeah, a very strong album for them. Yeah, you know, again, they went from David Lee Roth to Sammy Hagar, which is no easy feat. But you know, for what it is, they made it work. And this era of the band was very successful. So yeah, I dig it. Okay, last 2. Wild Cherry with the debut. Of course, they're only known for the one song. They're only known for the Play That Funky Music, Wild Boy. You know, that song. So, you know, yeah. I got it just based on that alone. But you know, the rest of the album's pretty good. You know, just good old, you know, funk rock, disco sort of sound. Yeah, it's very good. It's pretty good. Yeah, nothing too groundbreaking. Again, really, Play That Funky Music is the best song, but you know, that's to be expected. So yeah, you know, it's pretty good. I'm not sad I got it. Okay, and the last one that we got Amy Winehouse, Back to Black. Not Back in Black, Back to Black. Don't get confused like I sometimes do. But yeah, this is a different cover. This is the US cover. The UK, I think it's a little bit better. And it has the parental advisory sticker on it. But yeah, this is her second album, and I believe her last before she passed away. Yeah, you know, it's good. It's just good old soul, R&B as finest. You know, I've always enjoyed her voice. Definitely very unique for the time, and of course, unique look as well. Rehab, Me and Mr. Jones, Just Friends, the title track, Tears Dry on Their Own, Some Unholy War. Just a very good album. Again, it's not really the music I always go to, but I just wanted to get it because it is a very classic album, very popular album. So I might as well get it. And I'll give it a few listens here and there. So there you have it. I'm tired. Oh my god, these CD holes can get tiring sometimes, I'll tell you that much. But that's what happens when you have the bug, as I like to call it, the collector bug. We'll call it that for now. But yeah, that's it. That's all the CDs I bought throughout the month of March. March. I'm starting to get delirious now. I gotta end this now. But if you enjoyed this one, please give this video a like. Comment below what was some of your favorite CDs that you saw in this haul. And of course, we'll do this again probably for April, of course. So look forward to that. So thank you again for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Look out for the top 5 CD purchases for March as well. All right, and I'll see you then. Take care. Bye for now.